Okay, so part two. What is your target market? Who are you writing a movie for? Something I've noticed in a lot of the books and videos I've watched is they try to cover everything. Well, writing movies is a big topic. You know, that's like saying I want to be a musician, but what? You know, what do you want to play? You want to play guitar, drums, bass? Same thing here. I want to write movies. For what though? You know, what is your target market? And then pick that market, that one target area, and specialize in those types of movies. Specialize in that one type of movie. Just like songwriters stick to one area. You know, like country singers don't need to learn rap. Rap singers don't need to learn country. You know, there might be some overlap, but usually you stay in your own area. You know. So here's a few of the general categories. I kind of got carried away with this here, but I just wanted to give you a general idea of what I'm thinking. So I put teenage love story here at the top because that's who usually goes to the movies. You know, the teenagers on the weekend, they all go to the mall, they all go to the movies. You know, adult love stories are popular, especially on Hallmark Channel. You know, you may write a movie with that in mind. I want it to go straight to Hallmark Channel or some similar channel, straight to TV. Action movies are always popular. Drama, those are usually the boring movies, but those are the ones that win the Academy Awards. Academy Awards and Oscars, it's the same thing. I heard a little while ago they wanted to do away with one of the words because it was confusing. I think they're, you know, it's the Academy Awards, but they give out the statue. The statue's called an Oscar. So I think that they wanted to do away with the word Oscar. Okay, so comedy. You know, we all like comedy movies, right? But it's very hard to write comedy. So there's teenage movies. You know, it doesn't have to be a love story. Usually, though, it's going to be some type of love story. Just like songs. Songs are usually about love. You know, some angle toward a love topic. You know. Children animation movies are really popular now. You know, with the stuff like the Disney animation type thing. But I don't know if I'd recommend them because while they're popular, a lot of people watch them, it takes years before they actually create it. It may be in the creation phase for years before it actually makes it to the movie theaters. So I don't know exactly how that works. If you write the script, if they pay you right away, I'm not sure, but we'll have to check on that. Teenage animation for an older crowd, things like Star Wars, that's more for like an older crowd type thing. Some big animation movie just flopped a couple weeks ago. I heard the animations, the graphics were top notch, but the story wasn't all that great, and that's what they're blaming the flop on. So you know, if there's no content, you know, do I still have a movie? You know. We'll have to add that up here. Content. Creating the script is an art. Use your imagination to create a story. Good content. I guess that's kind of goes without saying, right? Date movies. You know, people always go out on dates. You know, older folks going out on dates, they don't really want to go to a teen movie. You know, sci-fi movie, they always do good with like an older crowd, early 20s. Musicals are old-fashioned. Every once in a while somebody tries to make one, but musicals went out years ago, like 30s or 40s or something like that back then. Westerns, same thing. They're old-fashioned. They went out back in the 60s. You know, back in the 60s or so, when TV first came out, all the TV shows were westerns, and then they just kind of faded out and they moved on to other topics. Same thing with the movies. Every now and then somebody tries to make a western movie, but I don't think they go over all that great. Once in a while they might, but I kind of like Hallmark movies. It's an older crowd, older love story type thing. And these days you'll hear about movies going straight to DVD. They don't even bother going to the theaters. And also straight to YouTube is really popular now. I think those are more of you're trying to make it as a writer, or make it as a director, or make it as a actor. You know, they put together a movie, they put it right on YouTube. So that's something else to research. Okay, so when you create a movie, you have characters, right? Usually two main characters. There might be just a few secondary characters. You know, no more than 5. You get more characters, you just confuse people. And the two main characters, it's usually a good versus bad thing. When you see it in the books, they'll call it a protagonist versus antagonist. That's good guy versus bad guy. So the protagonist is the main character in the movie, the good guy or the good gal. The antagonist is the second main character, and that's the bad guy or the bad girl. That's the main gist of the movie, those two people going at it. You should develop your characters before writing. You don't have to get carried away, but you should know their age, their education, you know, have some type of backstory on that character. You know, you're not just creating a paper cutout character. You know, even though you may not use it, but you should have a general idea. And then usually in a movie, you know, that main character will mature through the movie. They become a better person, or they learn something. You know, they develop through the movie. That's like the main gist of the movie. There's a program called Dramatica that's used for character and story development. We'll talk about that later. Something that I wanted to bring up here is when you're creating characters, you have to have two characters in your head, in your mind, talking to each other at the same time. You know, as a guitar player, you're only playing one guitar part at a time. You know, you may be listening to the other band people, so you stay in place, but you're still only playing one part. As a writer, you got both parts going in your head at the same time. You know, you're jumping from this personality to that personality, and back and forth, back and forth. If there's 3 characters in a scene, then you got 3 personalities inside your brain, and you're going from this personality to this personality, back to this personality, and so on. So that's got to be a tough thing to get the hang of when you first start writing. So over a period of time, months or years. I'm sure that's got to be some type of skill that writers develop. You know, it's almost like hearing voices. They say schizophrenics hear voices in their head. That's got to be like writing dialogue. You're hearing voices inside your head. So, you know, an actor only must live one character. Right? You always hear actors talking about, or people saying, that actor stayed in character even when they weren't on the set. You know, they were living that character 24 hours a day while they were filming the movie. But you, as a writer, you could have multiple characters inside your head all at the same time. And not just the character, but the personality of that character. Okay, so here, there's some things that get into the writing part. You know, theme, types of conflict, plot, synopsis, treatment. So, I don't want to go into great detail with this stuff. I just want to throw out a few of the terms here. A theme is the underlying life lesson of the movie. A theme can be one word like loyalty, betrayal, obsession, or jealousy. Or it can be a sentence, like in the movie African Queen. Love can bridge the gap between two different worlds. You know, that would be the theme. So just reading about this a little bit, the experts differ on what theme is. You know, is it one word or is it a sentence? So I wouldn't lose a lot of sleep over developing a theme. You know, your main character is loyal to something. Your main character has been betrayed. Your main character is obsessed with something. Your bad guy is jealous of the main character for some reason. You know, something like that. So I found this stuff on a website here, and it seemed pretty good. So theme is covered in a lot of the books. Got a handful of books that I want to talk about later. So lots of the websites and books, they talk about theme as types of conflict. But I've read it's two different things. Theme and conflict are two different things. So when I bump into things like that, I call it writer garbage. You know, it is what it is. Who cares what they name it? You know? So this website here, they listed top 10 themes, and here's the top 10 themes. But then I read on one website, these aren't themes, these are conflicts. Okay, so that's why I put up here. So these are pretty common, you know, good versus evil, love conquers all, and so on. Okay, so pick one for your movie. Okay, so what's your theme? What type of conflict? And then your plot. Your plot is just your main story. What's the movie about? You know, summarize the movie in one sentence. I watched one video online the other day, and the fellow put it in a real good way. He said, what if you're in the elevator with a very popular movie person and you got 1 minute to sell your script to them? What are you going to say? You know, mainly you're going to tell them your plot, that one sentence. You'll also see this called log line. I've never heard it called log line until I watched a video the other day about it. So Usually in books and stories and stuff like that, it's always called plot. So I only put that there because you might bump into that in some videos. And then sometimes your plot might not be perfect, and so they call that plot holes. I bumped into a website yesterday while I was researching this. It listed a whole bunch of movies in the plot holes. Just silly little things that weren't quite right inside the story. No one really cares. It's just an hour and a half movie. We're going to go watch it for a while. Some people get obsessed with this stuff. Okay, there's something else called a synopsis. Here's a good website about it. So a screenplay synopsis summarizes the screenplay for an agent, director, or producer. If the reader likes the synopsis, they might ask you to see the screenplay itself. It's not the same as a treatment. We're going to talk about a treatment down here, which is a narrative of everything that happens in the screenplay. A synopsis includes only the most important and interesting parts of the story. Your synopsis must summarize the plot, follow basic guidelines, and get your main point across to have a shot at success. Okay, so treatment is just like a 15-page condensed script. I've read it could be 1 to 15 pages or even 25 pages, but it's just your script in a condensed form. And there's whole books on writing treatments that sell. Okay, so all this stuff is still based on your plot. What is your plot? If you're just writing your story, you just need to know what the plot is. What's the main story? Our good guy goes and does this and tries to help somebody do this. That's the plot. And then afterwards, you may need to write a synopsis. You may need to write a treatment. I think I read the other day that some people actually write the treatment first. Just a quick 15-page treatment about the story, and then they use that to develop the whole script. So each writer is different. We all work different. Okay, so lots of the books talk about story. Okay, usually in the movie books, the script writing books, they don't talk about it as intro, body, conclusion, but I'm going to bring that up here because I think it makes sense. Outline your movie, intro, body, conclusion. The script writing books do talk about Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. Act 1 being the setup, Act 2 being the confrontation, the main gist of the movie, Act 3 being the resolution, the end of the movie. And as a general breakdown, these are rough estimates here. The setup, page 1 through 30, part 2, page 30 to 90, part 3, 90 to 120. Okay, something else you have to think of is how many days is your movie? Some movies are a couple hours. Some movies happen evening, overnight, morning. Some movies last a couple days. Some may last for months. Some may last for years. Usually a movie, most of them are like a couple weeks. They might span a couple weeks or a couple months. Each movie's different. But as you start to create your script, you should have a general idea on what's going to happen. This is going to be a 2-day thing, and my characters are going to do this over the 2 days. I recommend happy endings. I don't know how many movies I've watched, love the movie, there's a terrible ending, and I say I'm never watching that movie again. You know, if you want people to buy your DVD, watch the movie again over and over, become a classic, you know, you should have a happy ending. No deaths of good characters. There again, same thing. You know, great movies, and they have people die in it. You know, if the bad guy dies, no one cares. If they have the good characters die, it's just a terrible movie. No one wants to watch it again. So I don't know what the people in Hollywood are thinking. It doesn't make any sense to me. You know. You know, don't try to teach us stuff. You know, moral of the story, you know, try and teach us a lesson. No one wants to hear it. You know, you may need that stuff to develop your story, good person versus bad person. But I know there's some movies. I can think of one sitcom. It started out funny. Toward the later years, every episode was they're trying to teach us something. And I just got tired of watching it. I don't need to hear it. You know, nothing wrong with learning, being a better person. But when I watch TV, I don't want to see it on my sitcom, right? When I was studying song writing, you know, I had a lot of songs that were educational type thing. And my songwriting teacher said to me, "What do you like to listen to music for?" Yeah. And it's true. When I listen to music, I don't want to be told I'm doing something wrong, you know, or I don't want to be disciplined. You know, I just want to hear a stupid song, help break up the day, and have a little fun while I'm listening to it. You know. Same thing with a movie. You know. I did watch a video with one fella that said the 3-part structure is not enough, that there are more parts. You know, this Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. So he's got a book out too that talks about that stuff. We'll go over it later. So I can kind of see what he's talking about, and that's where the outline comes in. You know, we have the body of the outline, but there'll be multiple sections in that body. So it's not just one big section. So we all write different. We all do it a little different. That's part of the creative process.